Hey everyone, this is Mike, and today's just going to be a talking video because I haven't really done one of these in a very long time where I just hit record and just talk about random stuff that I'm excited about or stuff that's on my mind, things that are going on, that kind of stuff. And seeing how during the next few weeks there's going to be a lot of exciting game releases, I thought I would just do one of these videos again because it's just long overdue. So first of all, of course, Lost Ark is finally going to be releasing on Tuesday evening. I've waited for this game for like 6 or 7 years, I think, at this point. Because that was when the announcement trailer came out. Like, we got a trailer, then it took, I believe, like over 2 years before we got any news surrounding like a closed beta test or anything of the sorts. And then, of course, a few years ago, the game came out in Korea. Eventually, Japan got a server, Russia as well. And I've played on all three of the servers, but I've always tried to kind of contain my excitement for the game because I was always hoping that the game would come to the West eventually, which it's now finally doing so. And I always wanted to kind of save myself for that global release so that things still feel fresh. I didn't want to know everything there is to know about the game, have experienced everything there is to experience when I can then finally play on my actual account, because while I do have accounts on the other servers, they're kind of like throwaway accounts, I guess you could say, because yes, I've played on there to experience things a little bit, maybe see what class I want to play, etc. But I never really wanted to invest too much time into those accounts because I want to have like my permanent main account, I guess you could say, on the global server, and I feel like I kind of did a decent job at that. I have experienced a lot that there is to experience in the game, but I've only done like maybe 25% of the content that there is to do. There's still a lot of side content that I've never touched, there's still a lot of classes that I haven't played either, so it's still going to feel very fresh for me. And then of course when the game finally comes out on Tuesday, I'm planning on playing it a lot. Some people have asked me if I'm going to be doing like some sort of content surrounding the game on the channel as well, which I will most likely be doing. I'm planning on streaming here or there whenever I can, and maybe I'll also make some videos on it, like for example after getting my character to 50, give them an overview of the class or something like that, or other things that you can do in the game, or just give my general thoughts now that I can finally go in and enjoy the game for what it is. Because whenever I played on the other three servers, I always rushed the end game to see what the end game of the game has to offer, as that is where you'll spend most of your time playing the game because it's an MMORPG. So that's why I always kind of rushed through the story, didn't really do much of the side content that the game has to offer. And the game has a lot of side content, like for example the Adventure Islands, a lot of other like timed activities like Chaos Gates or whatever they're called, the Ghost Ship, other island activities that you can do as well, guild versus guild. There's just so much that you can do. Collectibles as well, that's something that I completely didn't touch whenever I played on the other servers, so there's a lot for me to still do. And whenever I go and play through the story, now that the game's finally coming out, I also want to give the story an actual shot, because so far I've always just skipped through it to get the end game as fast as possible. But because there's so much voice acting, the music's also been great, and there seemed to be a lot of good stuff there, I kind of want to give the story a go and see if I can enjoy it. So that's kind of like my plan. I'm gonna try not to rush through the game too much to get to end game, and I just want to take my time, enjoy the story, because a lot of my friends that are joining are going to be joining as free-to-play players, meaning that they don't get the 3-day head start. So I kind of have those 3 days to just relax, go through the story on my own, and then when the game does hit free-to-play, because of course if you buy a Founders you get a 3-day head start, then I can just be with my friends by the time that they catch up to the end game as well. So that's kind of like my launch plans for Lost Ark, I guess you could say. Gonna be playing the Sorceress class. I will be playing some alts as well, because I don't know if I want to stick to Sorceress as like my main class. But because we're launching into tier 3, which for those that don't know how that works, every tier there is like a full gear reset. So by the time that we get to tier 3, which will take like 4 weeks or something, I can experiment with a couple of different classes and then see that by the time we reach that piece of content, whether or not I want to switch mains, because at the beginning of a tier it's easy to switch main classes. So that's kind of my thoughts about that. But Sorceress is what I will be starting out with, and then we'll see how fast the other classes are coming out as well, because there's still a few classes missing from the game, comparing it to Korea and Russia as well. So there are still some classes that I'm interested in that aren't in the game yet, like for example Scouter, the Iron Man build looks incredibly fun to play, Destroyer, and then also the Lancemaster. Those are 3 that I really wanted to play, but they're not in the game just yet. So we'll see when those get added, and then maybe I'll pick them up as an alt, or if they're in time, maybe I might even switch mains, who knows. Only time will tell. So Sorceress, that's what I'll be playing, also be playing some alts, taking my time with the story, and then of course I'll also be doing a lot of side content. Because the level boost system is in the game as well, in terms of like you go to your housing and you can level a character from 1 to 50 by just AFKing and paying a gold cost. If I get access to that early enough, I'll just level my alt like that, and then I can focus on just doing 2 daily runs on like all of the daily content to gear up my main, and then I can also just focus the rest of my time doing all of the collectibles and other side content that the game has to offer, because I've never done any of that, and I'm very excited to just explore and do all of this content that I've never set foot in. So that's kind of it for Lost Ark. Can expect a lot of streams on it, maybe some content here or there whenever we clear through the Void dungeons, or whatever they're called in the English version, which are basically like mini raids. I might upload some clears of that. I also know that some of them have one-shot mechanics that you do kind of need to know, so I might make like a mini guide for those that last like 5 minutes so that you know what mechanics to watch out for. But outside of that, I'm not quite sure if I'm going to be making too many videos on the game itself, but streaming I will definitely be doing. Now, the week after that, TFT is getting its mid-set update. If you don't know what TFT is, it's the Teamfight Tactics game mode from League of Legends, something that I've enjoyed playing for a very long time. Whenever these like auto battlers came out, I first started playing Dota Underlords, but a year later I kind of switched to TFT, and I haven't looked back because TFT is my preferred one out of all the auto battlers that have come into existence since then. And whenever a new set comes out, I always like to play a fair bit at the beginning, like for example Gizmos and Gadgets is the current TFT sets that's out, and I played it a lot during the beginning, also play it here or there like over the weekend or something whenever I'm watching LEC or anything else like LCK I like to watch sometimes as well. And then I usually play TFT while I watch that on the side. Now with the mid-set update, a lot of new things are being introduced, like of course new character, new traits. I believe there's some new augments as well, so it's all very exciting, which is why I've been playing TFT a little bit more over like the last week or so to try and finish my battle pass, so that when the new mid-set update comes out, I'm kind of ready to play again. So I might stream a bit of that again as well, which I have done in the past as well, but we'll kind of see, because I usually tend to play TFT as like something on the side while I am watching something at the same time, and not necessarily just a game that I play for like streaming purposes or something like that. So we'll just kind of see how that ends up going, but I am very excited for it nevertheless, because TFT has always been a lot of fun. It's one of those games that I can just put on, play for half an hour, maybe play Hyper Roll if I only have like 15 minutes or something, and while it still requires me to think a little bit about the game, it's still a lot of fun, and it's a very relaxing game type as well. Like I can just play it whenever I'm hanging out with people on Discord, or whenever I'm listening to some music or something like that. It's something that's always been very relaxing to me, and it's a game that I like to come back to every now and then, whether it is whenever a new set hits, or whenever there's just some time that I have to kill and I want to play something for like half an hour, 45 minutes, and TFT has always been a good game for that. Then at the same time, Genshin Impact's also getting its next update, which I have been keeping up with Genshin over like ever since it came out basically. But I've been playing it very casually right now. I just log in twice a day, spend my resin, do my dailies, and that's pretty much it. Which, because Lost Ark is now coming out, I'm definitely not going to be spending that much time in Genshin, but I'll still kind of try to see if I can fit in doing the new story within there, because there's like a new weekly boss for us to unlock through that as well, so I do want to get that done. But for the most part, while I am still playing Genshin, it's not really like I'm playing it a lot. I just kind of log in to not waste my resources in terms of like resin and not wasting my dailies, but outside of that, I'm not really playing the game that much at the moment. Then the week after that, so again only a week after, is going to be the Destiny 2 expansion, The Witch Queen, which I am very excited for. Again, Destiny 2 is another MMO that I have played ever since it released. Year 1 I didn't really play all that much, Year 2 I think I played even less, but that was because there were so many other games that came out at that time. But ever since then I've always been playing Destiny quite a bit, and that's probably also because I now have a raid team that I play with every single week. Now of course the last 2 months or so we haven't really played because Final Fantasy had their expansion come out, so we all spend a lot of time in that, because a lot of people that are inside of that raid group also play Final Fantasy, so that's why we took a little break from Destiny 2. But with the Witch Queen expansion, there's gonna be a new raid, and we're all planning on going for a day 1 raid as well. So I do wanna get through the story with all of my characters, then of course get the gear as well, because I'm not quite sure what gear that we need, like in terms of item level to enter the raid. So I do want to make sure that I at least get that ready. Lost Ark is going to be my main focus for the next few weeks of like the game that I mainly want to play, but I still want to make sure that that I am raid ready for Destiny 2, because the raid is something that has always been a lot of fun, and raiding in Destiny in general is just an incredibly fun thing to do. So that is why I do want to make sure that I am ready for that. Again, in terms of content, I might stream or prog, I might upload a video of like a full raid clear, because I have done that ever since the Garden of Salvation raid, I believe. Like ever since then, whenever we did like our weekly re-clear or whatever, when we're kind of more familiar with the raid, I like to record a full run and then upload that to YouTube for those that can't experience the raid themselves. So I'm probably going to be doing that again, and who knows, maybe I'll stream a little bit of that as well, because whenever I do stream Final Fantasy and I talk about Destiny, some people have been asking whether or not I want to stream that game as well. So who knows, maybe once the expansion comes out, I might stream my story playthrough or something like that. But we will see whenever that ends up happening. That's a little bit further into the future. For now, on Tuesday, Lost Ark is gonna come out. Very excited for that. Also got a bunch of my friends that are going to be joining me, so that should be a whole lot of fun to actually have like a pre-made to do endgame content with, because while you can solo a lot of stuff at endgame, there's also still a lot of stuff that you do need a party for, and having a pre-made where I can call out mechanics is gonna be quite nice, because as I mentioned, some of the mechanics will one-shot you, so it will be quite nice. If we can prevent that. Then TFT, again, quite excited for that as well. Genshin, maybe not so much. And then Destiny 2's Witch Queen, also very excited for that. Again, you can expect some streams on that. And then maybe also a clear of the raid once the raid does release, because I believe we get like 1.5 weeks to gear up, to get ready for the raid before it comes out. But again, that is something that we shall see when we get there. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all of it in terms of games that I'm excited for. I know some people have asked me whether or not I'm going to be playing Elden Ring, which that is not going to be the case. While I did really enjoy playing Sekiro, outside of that, I haven't really played that many Souls-like games, so Elden Ring is something that I'm not really that excited for. Looks like a cool game, maybe I'll pick it up in the future, but definitely not right now when there are these other 3 games that I do want to spend a whole lot of time in. And then of course there's still Final Fantasy 14 as well, because it's not like we're gonna stop raiding on 14, which I don't know how long it's gonna take for 6.1 to come out, but we're doing Ultimate soon as well, so you can definitely expect more Final Fantasy content on the channel as well, as always. But yeah, that's pretty much gonna do it for me. So let me know in the comments what games that are coming out that you're excited for. Are you gonna join Lost Ark as well? Are you excited for Destiny 2? Or is there maybe something else that you're looking forward to that is coming out in the next few weeks? I would like to know. Let me know down below. But for now, I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank my Patreons for their support, and I'll see you in the next one.